I will introduce a new public key encryption schemes based on Lattice. Okay, so let me briefly introduce learning with error problems and then previous works, and then I will introduce our schemes and result. Okay, so most popular crypto primitives are public key cryptography and symmetric key cryptography and hash functions. We have several crypto schemes for public key crypto, like RSA, ECC, TPLman, and those can be solved efficiently with quantum computing. For symmetric key crypto schemes like AES or some other block ciphers, we don't have any generic algorithm to solve to break the algorithm. So only the what we should do is to increase the key size like twice. For 128-bit security, we need 256-bit key size for block ciphers. For hash functions, it's similar. We should increase the output size like by 50. Like for 128-bit security, we currently we need 2 times of that, but later we need 3 times of that. So that's why we are focusing on public key crypto only in this quantum error, because we have secure symmetric key crypto and hash functions. As you've seen in the morning sessions, we have several and the NIST launched post-quantum crypto, and then the deadline for submissions would be November next year. We have several candidates, as CHEON introduced. We will focus on Lattice crypto here because the Lattice-based crypto has security based on worst-case hardness of Lattice problem, then which has a reduction from standard Lattice standard NP-hard problems. That is, roughly speaking, if we can solve LW problems, then we can solve some lattice, like shortest vector problems with some approximate vectors. And then, even though it has large key size, its speed is very fast. So we expect fast implementation in lattice-based crypto. And also it has very good applications. It's very flexible, so we have many applications like homomorphic encryptions and then functional encryptions. So here we focus on LW-based encryptions. Okay, what is LW problems? You already seen the problems, but let me introduce more precisely here. This is just a system of equations. That is, here, yellow ones are secret. We are given a 8 by 3 matrix over G to the 10 at G sub 10, and we know the answers. That is, we have 8 equations with 3 variables. Because it's overdetermined, we can find the solution x1, x2, and x3 using Euclidean algorithm. Gaussian algorithm. And then the complexity is mn squared for when this is m by n. So it's only polynomial time for the size of matrices. But here, if we add some noise, it becomes very hard. Here, if we add random noise here, it's unsolvable. It does not have a solution. But here we have a restriction to add noises. That is, we add only small noise. Here, this ring G mod 10 is we represent an element of G mod 10 by an element between -5 and 5, then we take only small element like 0, -1, 1, even 2. Then here this is -1 and this is -2. So we add, and then we can relax the problem by giving more equations. We can give as many as equations, but still hard. That is called learning with error problems. Originally, it was this problem is a generalized version of learning parity problems. That is when all the elements are taken from binary element. In that case, some equations is true and the other equations are false in that case. But Regev generalized LP problem into LW problems by considering larger element, and then each equation has small error. Okay, and this is called LW problem, and sometimes it's called search LW problems. We can also consider decision LW problems. Here, this matrix and the answer, a pair, is called the LWE instances. That is a matrix and then multiplied by this vector, this one. It's called LW instances. The decision LW problem is to distinguish these LW instances from random instances. That is, when you are given these problems without secret key, whether you can determine this is LW instance or just random instance. That is decision problem. And then when we construct crypto schemes, the security of the scheme is based on this decision LW problem. That is, we try to make a reduction that if we can break some crypto system, then we can distinguish LW samples from random samples. Okay, then let me introduce LW-based encryptions. Here, this is a Regev schemes. It was proposed in 2003 and published in 2004 and 5. And here, all the entries are from G mod Q. Q can be prime, but Q can be also composite. And this is M by N matrix. M by N matrix. This is a column vector. Given a arbitrary M by N matrix over G mod Q, we compute B like A times S plus E. Here, S is secret key, and then randomly chosen from G mod Q to the length N vector over G mod Q, and then E is an error vector. It's randomly chosen from some distribution, but all the entries should be small. Then the encryption is just taking linear combination of each row. That is here one row, here one row and one element compose one instance of LW. If you take linear combinations of rows, then you can construct one LW instance. That is taking linear combination here, taking linear combination here. In that case, if you multiply S to here, then you can obtain this one. So you can remove this one to get this part. Here, so we place message here. What does it mean by Q mod 2 is we place the message in the MSB bit of G mod Q here. Okay, so this is the original regex encryptions. Here, one trivial attack you can consider, that is, if you combine those rows, you can imagine, you can guess the R vectors if number of rows are small. If you have only 10 rows, if you taking linear combination of 10 rows repeatedly, then you can finally obtain you can recover all the 10 rows. So to avoid this attack, M should be very large. That is, using leftover hash lemma, we can prove if M is very large, this one instance of LWE is indistinguishable from other LWE instances. That is, it has very large enough statistical distance. So to be secure, we should take very large M. That is a problem. That is the main inefficiency of these regeable systems. If M is large, we have M entries. So when we add up, the errors also grows. So that again increase the parameter size Q. So it's not so efficient. So to overcome these problems, Lindner, Packard, and maybe some other researchers also consider this idea, like we reduce M, but instead we add errors again here. So by adding some errors, it disturbs to recover the rows of A from RA plus E. So we can have very small, we can reduce M. Actually, the Jinta explained this one as a DPL noisy version of DPLman, because this is another LW problems. So we can reduce the security of this problem to LW problems, actually, without leftover hash lemma. Yes, so we have better, more efficient schemes here, but still we have a problem that here in this scheme, the problem is these errors should be taken from Gaussian sampling, not just uniform small uniform. So we should take Gaussian, we should take small element from Gaussian sampling, and then the quality of Gaussian sampling influence the security. That is, when you take Gaussian sampling, we should consider like 100 digit of the probability. So it's pretty hard. And then it has some ring variant. So here the problems is large key. First, it's large key size, and then second is encryption is slow in practice, right? Due to Gaussian samplings. So our first suggestion is to use sparse and small secret to reduce the key size. This idea is very straightforward. This idea was used for elliptic curves and RSA and all the previous public key crypto systems. But the key point is the security here. If we use sparse and small secret, whether it's secure or not, that is, here the secret key is not and is no longer taken from Gmod Q. Secret key is also very small element vectors, and we have, that is, for example, the secret key is length n, and then all the elements are 0 except few, and then the few non-zero elements are 1 or -1. So very simple. And then in that case, we proved this. If we increase n to n log q, this is secure. We have a reduction. So based on this reduction, we we composed we constructed encryption and decryption scheme, public key encryption schemes, and then we implemented. So, so in that case, the key size parameter size is like this. For 128-bit quantum security means it has 256-bit message. It's a CHEON algorithm, like a key encapsulation algorithm. That is, it should encrypt the 256-bit secret key. This secret key will be used for AES, 256-bit AES. So this is called CHEON. And then in that case, LP scheme has 200 kilobyte public key, and then this is our scheme is almost 160 kilobyte public key, and secret key is much smaller, and ciphertext is like this. And then the good point is speed. Encryption speed is 30 milliseconds, and decryption is 10 or 40 milliseconds. Let me recall the speed of RSA. RSA speed is the decryption speed is like 1 or several milliseconds. Here, the decryption speed is 100 times faster than RSA. For decryption speed, it's similar. For encryption speed, it's similar. And but here, since this is 128-bit quantum security, we should compare more than 4,000 RSA. Okay. For more detailed implementation, please see the ICSC proceedings, or you can see the talk next Wednesday in ICSC. Okay, and then let me into scheme 2. Scheme 1 is just one technique to speed up the previous schemes, and then scheme 2 we adapted a little bit different idea. And so we consider the LWR problems. Running with the rounding problem is like this. Here we have in the LW instances, we have a vector, and then we take inner product of this vector with secret vector, and then add some noise to disturb solving equations. But here we remove some LSB part to disturb. That is, here let's consider Q is 2 to the 8, and then P is 2 to the 8, Q is 2 to the 10. Like for example, this is 10-bit, and then we get this is n entry. This has n entries, but each entry is 10-bit integer. Here B is a 10-bit integer, but in the previous schemes we add several bit errors. But here we remove several bits of LSB. So in LW problem, the least significant bit was hidden by adding small random noise, but here discard. And fortunately, we have some reduction from LWE. That is in 2020, and then Banerjee, Packard, Rosen introduced this problem and showed this is as hard as LW when Q is very large. And later, it was improved, but this year, in TCC, it was introduced that LWR is harder than LW when number of samples is very small. That is, when you have a small number of LWR samples, it looks very random. Actually, if you have only one instances, it's very hard to solve because you have n secret. If you have only one equations, it's impossible to solve. So, based on this, we constructed a scheme. here still S is a sparse small secret vector, and encryption procedure, the public keys are the same. A, the matrix n by n matrix A, and then vector B, A times A multiplied by S plus noise E. This is the same with LW problems. And then in the encryption procedure, we take linear combination of rows, and then in the LW problems, we add some noise here, and then here, but here we, rather than add noise, we just remove the last part. So what we should do is we take R, random vector R, and then take linear combinations and remove some part and add some message in the MSB part. That's it. So since we don't have a Gaussian sampling, the encryption is fast, but still we have Gaussian sampling in key generation part. So okay, then quotient. Then if we cut large portion, we can have smaller ciphertext size, but it does not work because if we cut more, the correctness will not hold. We cannot recover the public the message. If we cut small, then it's not as hard as LWE. So we don't have a reduction. So we should cut enough. So when we take parameters, we should consider correctness and security, both of them. So, but as I told you, the reduction depends on the number of samples. But here, this is like a ephemeral development. So that is, in these schemes, S is a long-term secret, but when we encrypt, actually R is secret. S is used repeatedly for all the encryptions, but R is only used once for each encryption. And then later we will choose different R. That is, here the attackers can get only one sample of LWR. So that's why we have a good reduction here. So since we don't have a Gaussian sampling, we can accelerate encryption speed, and then we can also use sparse small secret because we have a reduction by increasing the dimension n a little bit. We can use this one. This one gives better key size. So we still use sparse small secret, and then here we also converted this scheme is we can prove this scheme is in the CPA secure in the LWE assumptions without random oracle. But sometimes we need in the CCA security. So we converted this one is in the CCA scheme, not in random oracle model, but in quantum random oracle model. Actually, the 2020 Bonnet and his colleagues showed random oracle cannot be secure in some cases in quantum computing. So this year, the Tagi and Unrup proposed a conversion. This is a modified Fujisaki Okamoto conversion, which is secure in the CCA secure in the quantum random oracle model. Our scheme satisfies the condition of this conversion, so we can convert it to in the CCA secure in the quantum random oracle model. So the result is like this here. We implemented our scheme 1 and 2, and then we take the result from some website, eCrypt benchmark of crypto systems. Here, the encryption speed is 24 millisecond, 24 microsecond. Here, it's 7 microsecond, and then 6 microsecond. It's 4 times faster. So, but we didn't publish this scheme, and then we are planning to upload our paper to ePrint this maybe this week or next week. So any comment and will be appreciated. Also, our implementation is very elementary. So any comment, any help for implementation and application, and most important thing is attacks. Like we would like to collaborate about evaluate the security. So maybe we need to adjust some security parameters because currently we didn't investigate a lot for LWR problem, even though it is it is asymptotically as secure as LWE. For we do not know any dedicated attack for LWR problems. So we have lots of things to do, investigate to have correct, good secure parameters. So please email me and then tell me if you are interested. Thank you for attention.
Any questions?
In your talk, you mentioned that your main idea is to use sparse and small secret value. But in this case, usually the public key consists of one large matrix and another one. But in this case, the secret key only affects the smaller one, but not about A matrix. But you mentioned that the size of public key reduced. But I think A matrix cannot be reduced.
Yeah.
But it will not reduce the size of public key if we use the same parameter.
Yes. The question is, even though we used sparse small secret key, the public key size does not change. Yes, that's correct one. And if we use small sparse secret, only changes is the linear combination of errors will be small later. So the public key size, that is the size of Q, if that is when you have Q, the error, if you add error, error is placed in the LSB part. If you add 100 errors, then it increases only 6 bits. But if you add like 1 million one, then it increases 20 bits. So if we use sparse small one, we add only several errors. So we need only small Q. This is one part. So here we focus on reducing ciphertext, not public size. One reason is actually the public size can be reduced dramatically. Like A is random matrix. So rather than giving A, we can give only seed. And then the seed is used to produce random sequence via pseudo-random generator. Then we can reconstruct the A. So actually the matrix A can be replaced by seed, and then so only P part, that is 1 by n, length n vector, length m vector over G mod Q. So if you reduce Q, actually public key size is not so large.
So you mean that you use the same n and m parameter with the LW, not Q? Q is reduced, but n and m.
Yeah. NM is similar.
Any other questions? I think there's an online question, yeah. So again, in the second talk, there was reuse issue in LWR. You expect how much
Reuse issue.
I guess what is the impact of reuse in this setting?
Frankly speaking, I was very shocked to see the reuse attack. Yeah, that's very interesting and then fascinating attacks. But so I've thought about this for a while, but this can be applied only for key exchange setting. Here, we the secret okay, I send the message to phone, then I will use the public key of phone, but in the case the phone do not do anything with his secret key, so it's totally secure. In the key exchange setting, phone do something with his secret key to my public key, so in this procedure his key can be revealed, but in this encryption setting it's different. So I think this attack cannot be extended to this setting. I mean public key setting and then key encapsulation mechanism setting, so this attack cannot be applied, right? Maybe also for Ding schemes, if he convert his scheme from key exchange to CAM, key encapsulation mechanism, then it's okay. The attack does not apply, right?
As a side comment, I think for Frodo on the thing that is prototyped by Google, they change of A every time. They regenerate parameters to avoid this type of attacks for the key exchange. Yeah.
I just have one quick question. So you talk about the sparse errors. How sparse normally you go? How sparse?
For 128-bit security, I think the non-zero, the Hamming weight is 64, something like this. So the the entropy of secret keys should be more than 2 to the 128, 100, 200? Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
As my understanding is your scheme will be secure under the assumption is the LWR is the same as the LWE.
Yeah.
But in the morning talks, this will check the another vulnerability of your scheme, the side channel attacks, also kind of a constant time encryption decryption time.
Yeah.
How can you expect your ideas can provide constant time encryption decryption?
Actually, I didn't understand what does it mean by constant.
So regardless the size of a plain text, the time to encryption decryption will be same. But this scheme is encryption decryption is a different variable size of plain text, I believe.
Yeah, I actually I don't. I have no idea actually. It's very
But,
initial stages.
okay.
So
You believe LWR is secure as LWE?
yes, I think it does not reveal more information than LWE. So still as secure as LWE, I think. So, but if LWE is broken, it would be
Okay.
dangerous. As
So
LWE.
what do you mean the random oracle? I mean the quantum random oracle model.
So I'm not familiar with this, and then we invite some the expert in this area. So you can ask this question to Professor Bang Song and then some other experts. But as I know,
when you apply random oracle, if you use a hash function, can
Yeah.
be modeled. But in your scheme, there's no hash function you use.
so I didn't introduce the in the CCA version here. I just told you we can convert it.
Okay.
But as far as I know, the quantum random oracle allows multiple queries at once. In random oracle query, we ask one query at a time, but in quantum random oracle model, they allow. So we need a larger key size actually. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? And nothing online news. So let's thank the speaker again.